with COVID restrictions easing, a ton of my students are now getting shows in clubs, and some of them have been asked to do a back-to-back DJ set. So in this video, I'm going to explain what is a back-to-back set, the different ways you can approach your back-to-back set, why the promoter would even ask you to do a back-to-back set, how to prepare for it, and how to assure that when you both play that you stand out, you make a huge impact, and you assure repeat shows. So firstly, okay, a back-to-back DJ set is when two DJs share the one time slot. Now, lots of DJs do not find this ideal, as let's face it, it is good to have your own time slot, as then you can come on and do your own thing. So why then have you been asked to do a back-to-back set in the first place when honestly you'd be less pressure to just turn up and play on your own? So the truth is the promoter probably offered you a back-to-back set for a few reasons. So firstly, perhaps the promoters have been approached by a ton of DJs wanting shows and they simply can't fit everyone on the lineup. So that could be true when there's a special themed party or a boat party, and so they just get you to share times. But also, it's also really common with the promoters that are relying on DJs to bring people to help get numbers to their event. So put it this way, okay? Let's say you're a nightclub promoter, okay? You've contacted a venue about running an event, and let's say they decided to give you a shot. And let's say you had like an awesome opening night, it was packed, but then there was a huge drop off for your second event that didn't go so well. Then the chances are the venue's already going to be applying pressure on you to get more people, and the emphasis is going to get shifted onto numbers. Now, you may also have a ton of local DJs approaching you for shows, and you think, wow, if I get the DJs to help out with promo, and let's say include 5 new DJs on the lineup, and they all bring 20 people each, well, that's an extra 100 people to the door. Now, I'm not saying I agree with these methods, but they are more widespread in the local scene than you probably realize. But to take it one step further, let's say you're running an event, you need to get numbers, the venue's got all this pressure on you, and you've got so many DJs wanting shows, you may think, why not give some of them back-to-back sets? And that means putting 2 DJs essentially sharing that same time slot. That way, instead of fitting like 5 DJs on the lineup, you can get 10. And if each DJ is encouraged to promote and bring people, and let's say each DJ now brings 20 people, that could be 200 people already. Now, I'm not saying relying on DJs to get people is right or wrong, okay? But it does happen. And even the biggest clubs and promoters pay top dollars for big DJs because the big DJs have the biggest fan bases, and they're hoping that the big DJs will introduce a ton of energy and new people to their event. And in the local scene, right, it's the same concept, but just on a smaller scale. But another reason why you may get asked to do a back-to-back as well is because you have a big name, and so does the other DJ. And by putting 2 big name DJs head to head, it creates a promo angle that would look kind of cool on a poster. So for instance, Skrillex versus Diplo, or Calvin Harris back to back with David Guetta. And it's that kind of thing that creates a promo angle that could attract extra attention and potentially numbers. So all in all, I feel most back-to-back sets are a promo angle, pretty much designed to attract more people in one way or another. So, okay, so let's say you have been asked to do a back-to-back set. There are different ways you can approach it. Now, firstly, one way would be, and without a doubt, this would be the easiest way, and that is simply split your playing time down the middle. So let's say you have an hour between you, you could play 30 minutes, and the other DJ also plays 30 minutes, okay? But another way would be that you control one deck each. So you might play on this side and the other DJ plays on this side, okay? But personally, if you were to do that method, you're gonna wanna liaise with the other DJ in advance. You're gonna have to decide on the genre and the mood for the mix, and perhaps even agree on a pre-prepared playlist. Because here's the thing, right? If you turn up and let's say you're just going a song here and they're going a song there, and let's say you're both into different kinds of music, it could honestly, without any kind of preparation, it could be all over the place. So sure, it would be fun going song to song, but if you did want to go that route, you would want to go in with a plan. Okay, now personally though, my favorite back-to-back method is to go 2 tracks each. And I remember when I was much younger, sometimes we'd do kick-ons back at my place after events and stuff, and quite often there could be several DJs hanging out, and we decided to play a game, and that is, well, actually, it's probably more realistically an exercise in set flow, okay? And the idea was we all had 2 tracks each before rotating to the next DJ. And the first track had to blend well and suit what the previous DJ finished on. But then the second track could take the set more in the direction that you wanted to take the set. So let's say the DJ before me finished on something chill, but I wanted to take it heavy, right? Well, I couldn't just start on a heavy track. It's going chill heavy. It just kind of like, the flow would be all weird, right? So instead, you'd have to find a track that mixed in well with what they finished on. And let's say I want to take it heavy, maybe it's a little bit heavier, a little bit more energetic in feel, so I could then bridge into the mood that I wanted to take the set. And then if I worked it into something more energetic, and let's say the DJ after me wanted to bring it back down, they'd have to find a way to do that artfully with their 2 tracks. So for instance, find a track that flowed on from what I finished on, and then use that track to bridge it into what they wanted to play. Now, by going 2 tracks each, you also have a little bit more time to do your thing. And in many ways, it can be seen as an exciting challenge where you learn how to read the crowd, direct the flow of the set, bounce off what they play, take it in the direction you want. And to be honest, I actually think that regardless of whether or not you're playing live, getting over friends and doing that game, it's a really good experience. I love that game. It was so much fun, okay? So anyway, that's the different ways you can approach back-to-back sets. And that is like either, you split down the middle, 30 minutes each, or track for track, which you need to prepare, or going 2 tracks each, okay, like I just said. But the next question is, how do you stand out when you are sharing your set time with another DJ? And let's say you got 20 DJs on the lineup, like, how do you stand out? So easy, okay? Just enjoy yourself, man, and make the best of it. And I also suggest whenever you play, looking on the bright side and being grateful you even got a set and an opportunity to potentially make a new friend, a comrade, the DJs that you're sharing the lineups with. I'd also thank the promoter for the opportunity, invite your friends, and perhaps then get them to cheer every time you put on a track. But in saying that, you do also want to support all the other DJs too, and do it not just for the recognition that comes from being a DJ, right? But also to help out the scene, as the stronger the culture at events and the more you're part of the rebuilding process post-COVID, the more success you're going to have. And just along those lines, I also suggest that you do a follow-up after the event and just post about the success of the event online, tag the promoter, letting everyone know it's the place to be, and perhaps even thank publicly the DJ that you shared the lineup with, claiming how much of a privilege it was to share a lineup with someone so talented. And if you also want to get asked back for more shows, I suggest that you promote the events that you want to be part of, even when you're not playing, and even turn up and party and have a good night out with your friends, even when you're not on the lineup. Now, by doing so, it shows you're a team player. And if you want to be on the team, it's good to show that you can support the promoter's work regardless of what you can get from them, okay? Now, it's that kind of attitude that speaks volumes, and it's much louder than the person who goes in trying to convince everyone and anyone to give them a show by trying to convince the promoter of their talents, which in truth is how the majority of new DJs act, talking all about themselves, trying to prove they're good enough, but showing zero support unless they have something to gain. And people are sick of that kind of mentality. And we have to lose that mentality and think, what can we give, not what can you get? And the funny thing is, the more you give, the more you usually get in return. Now, in saying that, if you have to check out my free material. I'm joking. I'm just messing with you, right? Anyway, thanks for your support, and hopefully this video lifts the veil on why you have been asked to do a back-to-back set and how you can approach it, make the most of it, and also come out victorious. And if this kind of stuff interests you, okay, 100%, sorry to push it, but man, I can really help you. I just know for a fact. I've got my Club Ready course, obviously, but in that I've got a whole section on the music industry, from tactics at work on how to approach venues for shows, but even more important, once you get shows, how to get repeat shows and build success for yourself as a DJ. And I also share industry insights to avoid falling into the traps that literally everyone falls into. As let's face it, when it comes to running events and teaching, not many people have as much experience as anything. I ran my own events, as a sole source of income for almost 2 decades, often 3 events per week, flying down the east coast of Australia. So honestly, why take 20 years to learn the ins and outs of the industry when I can teach you everything you need in under a week? I really can. I can share. My students are getting club shows. I get people into clubs. But anyway, thanks again. And if you're not yet part of the Club Ready tribe, I'll link in the course below. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully that's helpful. Cheers.